Okay, how's it going, everyone? How is it going? Testing, testing. Let's see if I have my audio levels all right here. Hey, Tutu, you did indeed caught me. You did indeed catch me at the right time. Hey, Xluxy, welcome back. Audio works fine. Thank you for the report. Thank you, thank you. Can we build the game? Oh, we can get that out of the way. Yeah, this was a little bit of a ninja indeed. I did a stream yesterday. It was super chaotic. We actually wrote some pretty good code on stream yesterday, but due to some mishaps elsewhere, nothing really worked for a whole long time. Until eventually I figured out that I had like filtering incorrectly set up in PhysX and then it was all good. It ended on me basically saying that okay, I need to figure this out. I'm gonna do it off stream because it's not gonna be super nice to watch. I actually ended up fixing that in like 10 minutes or something after I shut the stream down. Then everything worked. So I was like, that was sort of a failure as a stream. I'm gonna do another one today, directly afterwards. It's not just that though. I've done some pretty good work today as well. I started the day by doing some like serious optimizations on the D3D12 path. Meaning that both loading and unloading a level now is much faster than it used to be, which is super nice. It's about the same. It's still a little slower than D3D11, but we're in the same ballpark now. Not like 3 or 4 times as slow as the D3D11 path. So that's really nice. I also did some other things. I finally put in an unstuckifier UI. Look at this. We should probably get stuck somewhere for that to make sense. So, those of you who have followed me for a while know that I've had this like debug text, basically just hovering over the vehicle when you've used the unstuckifier, and it just looked kind of horrible. And so today I was like, nope. That's gonna get switched out if we get stuck here, for example. If you hold down the unstuckifier, of course, this is sort of like there's like a warm up or whatever you want to call it. You need to hold it down for a little bit, and then you get unstuck, and you can sort of see there on the pie chart or whatever you want to call that. You know how long it takes for it to activate, and then how long you can actually unstuck yourself. So that's finally done. That's nice. And I realized that for the next pre-alpha, I'm basically down to like 10 or so to-do items before I can release the next pre-alpha, which is going to be the last pre-alpha before the public demo comes out. So that's exciting. Hey, Mindbill, thanks for tuning in yesterday. You caught me like 1 minute before I stopped, but I appreciate it anyway. Today you caught me 1 minute after I started, so that's a better time to join the stream for sure. Anyway, yes, we have just a few to-do items to do before we can release the next pre-alpha 4, which is going to have just like, I don't even know, I need to like, you know, make myself a big cup of coffee and put on some concentration music to write those release notes, because I think we probably have like, you know, 300 or so improvement items on this change list. It's just absolutely massive, and some of those items are really large, like the conversation system. Some of them are pretty small, like bug fixes, but still, it's going to be an absolutely massive release. And of course, at the end of summer, I'm planning to do the first fully public build. You don't need to join the Discord or anything to play. You just need a Steam account essentially, and then you get to download the demo, which is going to be exciting. The reason it is postponed from the beginning of the summer to the end of summer is that it will actually have voice acting and stuff like that. So that's going to be exciting. It takes a little bit of time for those assets to come through, right? But yeah, lots of cool things coming. On today's stream, I'm going to tackle hopefully at least two of those to-do items from the pre-alpha 4 to-do list. Maybe even 3, but at least I'm hoping to do at least 2. Of course, it might be like a complete disaster like yesterday, and and we will get stuck on the first one, but I'm hoping not. This shouldn't be super tricky. Actual voice actors, yes. Actual voice actors, like as in actual living human beings doing voice acting. Of course, we already have temporary text-to-speech voice acting in the game. If you, Mindbill, haven't actually seen or heard that, we do have that, and I keep apologizing for the horrible voices that we have. Seems like not everyone knows that like every single game basically who has or which has voice acting typically use text-to-speech voices at some point of the production, just because it is very, very handy. I need to let her speak so that we don't talk over each other. It's very handy to have yeah. Okay. If I drive closer to that, they're gonna start yapping again, so I'm not gonna drive there. It's very handy to have temporary voice acting here for a number of reasons, like you can test out the technical parts of your dialogue system. You can also just listen to the dialogue that you've written to kind of hear a little bit how it flows. Of course, like the feeling and the intonation and all of that is completely off. But if you don't hear anything, you don't get any sort of sense for like timing and things like that. So that it's kind of important actually to have a little bit of that going on, right? And so we have that, but I don't really want to ship this to any players, not even like you guys who know this project pretty well, because some of it is just really horrible.
Someone's parked over there.
Like the Rowan character and the mother character actually kind of work okay-ish, at least as a temporary dialogue.
Channel open. Adjusting position.
Like that kind of stuff. But then like some of the text-to-speech voice acting is just completely horrible. It's just absolutely utterly broken. And some of it is just, you know, bad. Sounds like Christopher Walken. So
Couple more questions for the documentary.
yeah, they just yap a whole lot these days. Anyway, actual voice actors, yes, and that will come in the demo. That won't come in pre-alpha 4, even though it kind of technically doesn't really require me to do anything other than just plug in those assets, right? And then it works essentially. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time for those assets to come through. Anyway, we have some actual work to do today.
All that in memory.
Yeah, we can actually like. I think it's VO volume is
Mother.
So if we just put that down, we can still have volume, but we just mute the characters. And so Pre-Alpha 4 will arrive without voice acting, text-to-speech or otherwise. But yes, so some things for today. I've had some reports of a reasonably small thing with the driving AI, but several of my play testers, if you will, have gotten confused over the fact that like they're trying to reposition one vehicle, like let's say Mother over there. We ask Mother to come to us, move here, and she kind of drives like this, right? And then stops here. Now if we ask her again, move here, she says channel open and repositioning, but like obviously she doesn't do anything because the AI system has determined that like we are already at the position. Like so if we look at the yeah, there's the move to action. We can actually probably, oh, we can't actually debug the AI brain here because we need to run it on the same thread, but we can see it here from this output that if we go like move here, we get another starting move to action and then move to action movement finished immediately because the AI system figures that, okay, we're actually already close enough to the target. Listening, move here, and I can see it started and now it stopped, and now we have arrived at the destination. Sometimes, depending a little bit on the position, and you're trying to get like Mother into the elevator, things like that, it can be kind of confusing if she goes like, yeah, I'll head over, but then she doesn't do anything. So we are going to add a simple hook into the AI, specifically into the AI that you can order around using this radio menu, so that it actually notifies you if it is already at the position. Because I actually have some dialogue already written for that. It just isn't hooked up, so it never actually never actually triggers, right? That's one thing. Then we have some other issues here in the level, which I think we might have to solve by annotating this level a little bit more. Some AI drivers getting stuck in some places here, getting into the whole like Austin Powers situation where they're parked sort of turned like 90 degrees somewhere in a place where they really can't like get out of because they're afraid of the walls, basically. So we're gonna try to tackle all of that today, and that should cover like a couple of those to-do tasks, to-do list items on my list there.
Receiving. Adjusting position.
And then if we finish those and we still have time and I still have energy, I think I might do a little bit of polish on the whole conversation thing here, which you have in this level as well. Now, not all of these to-do list items are this small. We have, like, for example, we have an item here to model a vehicle for Mrs. Florence here, which we can of course now talk to, but I won't because it's kind of long. But yeah, that's another one of those items. So even though we have just like 9 items currently on the list, some of them will take a little bit longer. But I'm fully expecting to put out Pre-Alpha 4 in the beginning of July, so in a couple of weeks, with all of these things, and it should be finally pretty good this level, and then we can move on to other things. Anyway, let's get cracking on this, realizing that we are already at the position that we are moving towards. Yeah, look at how snappily that game now shut down. So both like loading and unloading of things is now much faster with D3D12. Used to take like 3 or 4 seconds just to shut the game down previously. Hello, Sababugs 1125. Welcome to the stream. Right, I did a little bit of sort of investigation here, what we need to do actually to make this thing happen. So here is the function that gets called when you ask someone over the radio, hey, can you come to me? And so what happens here is we check if we don't have a brain component for some reason. This should basically never be the case, but if the object doesn't have an AI brain, like it can't do anything AI related. Is this engineless? By engineless, I assume you mean like I'm not using one of the third-party engines, in which case you are correct. Yes, this is all self-written code. I do have an engine that I call an engine, which I've written myself and designed myself. So, you know, if you call that an engine, or if you call that engineless, then you know, that's up to you, I guess. But yeah, it's all self-made stuff, basically. Right. So anyway, this is fired, and we have a sender, and of course this is like a message which says move here. So kind of implicitly, we want to move to this game object, and we need to figure out some things here before we can even move. Figure out if we have an AI brain. From the brain, we can get the AI driving component. Again, if we don't have a driving component, then you know, the AI can't drive anywhere. So we get the driving component out of there, and we check, can we find a path to the object? And if we can find a path, then this guy actually returns the target position. You can see here, there's an optional vector tree. So it can return null, which it does here if, you know, it can't find the target world position, or we can't find the point on the nav mesh, it also returns null, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, if we can find a path to the position, we return that target position, right? Now, I was thinking here, okay, what is the best way to figure out if the object is already at the position that we ask it to drive to, right? What's the game about? Okay. I'm gonna take a small pause in this and explain this. I assume this might be useful to other newcomers as well who haven't really seen this game all that much. Let's lower the volume again a little bit. So let's load in some test vehicles here. Blumps. Right, so this is a game about driving vehicles in a sort of near future sci-fi environment, if you will. Let's bring it down a little bit further still. Oh, that's VO volume that I'm adjusting here. Let's do master volume 0.1. There we go. And there we go. That's probably good. Yes, so it's very much sort of like physics based, and you have these different vehicles they can use. You can switch vehicles just by driving up to them like this. And there is a single player campaign, story mode essentially, in which you have your cargo crew delivering things, and the story is basically about like getting off this planet. And you do that by solving all kinds of physics puzzles. You can see like this, that like all the cargo in the back of the vehicle is dynamic. You can also just drop this guy into the back of the vehicle like this, plumps. You can control the gripper arm like this, fully freely. You can also control the truck bed, so we can just dump these things here if we want to. They refuse to fall off. We need to drive a bit faster. Things like this. You can also ask other vehicles to... Oh, we don't have a character for the narrator type yet. This game is actually going to crash now. That's because I'm running it now in like a hack together mode where I'm just spawning in a bunch of debug vehicles here, right? But if we actually use this guy and ask the gripper truck, yeah, we have some horrible text-to-speech voice acting here, which is actually hooked up to something.
On my way.
On my way. So you can see that the vehicles can also drive using AI. Not the Tech Bro LLM kind of AI, but actually like handwritten, old school game AI.
Go ahead. Heading over.
And this is the sort of thing that we're working on today, trying to make this thing a little better. Custom assets. Everything that you see here has been modeled by me. It's genuine programmer art.
On my way.
It's genuine programmer art. There's nothing nothing made by an actual artist. But yes, you can go and have a look at like previous streams. I do a whole lot of blendering on stream. So yes, everything that you see is self-made. Everything that you hear isn't necessarily self-made. So I do use some like off-the-shelf assets for sound effects and things like that. But yeah, everything here, all the modeled things, is completely custom made specifically for this project.
Go ahead.
I don't actually think there's a single mesh in here that's used like based on any asset pack or anything like that. Not that I don't have a hard and fast rule to not do that, but it's just that like it's really difficult to find meshes and assets and all of that kind of fit the mood that I'm going for. So I kind of tend to not use stuff, instead just model things myself. Because of course this is using a pretty sort of a pretty stylized low poly art style. So a lot of the like asset packs have stuff like ultra realistic meshes and whatnot, and I could use those, but of course I don't want to put something like that in a game. Cool. What graphics API are you using? This is D3D12 currently. I'm on NVRHI, so I support D3D12 and D3D11. You can see it here in the corner. And I actually just started this stream today by saying that I did a whole bunch of optimizations actually on D3D12 just this morning. Excuse me. Windows exclusive. Well, I mean it runs really well on the Steam Deck. So no, not really. But of course, NVRHI also supports Vulkan, so I already actually compile all the shaders to Spur V, so it's kind of halfway there already. I did a Vulkan stream maybe a couple of months ago or something like that, where I kind of started that work. But honestly, D3D12 works so well on Proton these days that like I don't really care about Vulkan right now. Instead, I'm caring about just shipping the game, and you know, Mac platforms. I don't really care about those. I mean, I've had a metal renderer for this that I wrote myself some years ago, and until I kind of like lost interest. But yeah, you could reintroduce that if you want to. Anyway, that's the game. let's go back to the AI stuff for a bit. So what I was thinking here is that, like, okay, this can find path to object, and it specifically can find path to object EX, kind of like mirroring the Win32 APIs. It returns an optional vector 3. I was thinking that we wouldn't do that. Instead, we would introduce a new enum here, somewhere. Don't exactly know where yet. Probably in like the AI category. Here is AI movement result. Yeah, this is almost what we need, but it's not quite what we need. So AI movement result is like, okay, how did it go, right? So maybe what we want here is actually like, let's kind of spitball here something like AI pathfinding result. It's also an enum. It doesn't really need to be a U32, but I kind of tend to make my enums U32s because if they need to reach the engine level, then that's typically what is assumed. So this would be a success as well. The error would be, you know, path not found or something like that. Path not found. But then we have this new case, which is like already at destination. Which is why I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not exactly sure if this is like if pathfinding is the correct thing here. Wonder if it would be like, you know, move and query result or something like that. Would that be a better name for it? So this is an enum that would be returned from these AI driving functions that we have here now, which return like a boolean or an optional vector 3. Can find path to position wouldn't return, you know, a boolean. It would return basically that. I think something like that. Already at destination should return an empty path. Well, it could, but currently, if you can't find a path to the destination, it currently returns null. So this is of course like a 3D vector, and this makes it optional, so it can return either null or a 3D vector. And so currently the logic is that, like, okay, if we have a path, it returns the destination position. If it can't find a path, it returns null. And so that's only basically two different outcomes. It's just that the success outcome has like a payload, which is the vector 3. So now we would instead have an enum which would have 3 different instead of 2 different you know, outcomes, and some of them would have a payload and some of them wouldn't. So this AI movement result is that's like a very generic term, right? It's like it's AI and it has to do with movement, and it is a result. And I think it makes sense that, like, okay, if you have a callback somewhere, move here and then call this callback, that's what it would return there. But what would it return when you actually figure out if you can even start the whole thing? I don't know. Let's maybe leave it at the pathfinding result for now. I'm gonna think about that name a little bit. The name is not super important anyway, right? And so we start from this guy here. This is the function that would basically do this check. Hey, are we already close to the target, right? because we need the target position from it. The target position is actually figured out here. So before we do this can find path to position, in between here we can check if we are already at the destination, and then return a value based on that. Right. Let's see where is this guy actually called. It's called from here, it's called from here, and it's called from the com radio, which is actually the place where we want to use. So this is clearly the correct place for it. So I'm gonna take this guy away, and I'm gonna actually move it into a pointer instead. So this would be, let's see, destination, and it is a writable vector 3 pointer. Yes, exactly. There we go. And then this would return means AI. Is it? Did we make it public? Yes. AI pathfinding result. AI pathfinding result is what we want here. So, right, if we don't have a world transform, then we will return path not found. If we can't find the closest point to the nav mesh, we will also return path not found. If we go through all of the cases, we also return path not found. Here is where we will return success, and we will set the destination to be equal to the target position, and this is the syntax in Zig for doing that. So we're writing this means like dereference the pointer and write to that, you know, the value that it backs. Okay. Right, and so here is where we can check that, but let's not do that yet. Let's patch up these you know places that we have here that actually use this function. So can find path to object. It gives it like a hard-coded search box size. I think this guy basically just wants to know. Oh no, actually it wants to know it returns the destination as well. It never does anything with it. Okay, so what we can do here actually is this. We can do destination. We make it a vector 3, and we initialize it to like 0, something like that. Then we pass the address of it. Oh, not percentage, but address of destination, and we return whether or not that is success. Or should it, like if we make this boolean, this is what I'm kind of thinking here. Actually, make that, you know, return what people actually expect it to return. So if we can find a path to the object, should it return true if this guy returns success, or if it does not return path not found? I'm kind of thinking that is probably the correct thing. So if we are already at the thing, or we can find a path to it, it returns true, right? Like this. So then we can take this away. And that becomes just a boolean thing. Right? It's like we don't care about this. Of course, we could make this an optional pointer like this, and then we wouldn't actually have to pass it there, but nah. No, dereferencing is not a prefix, it is a postfix. And I don't think it's a philosophical question, because if someone calls, you know, this thing here, this underscore can find path to, and it takes like an int pointer. This is basically my way of wrapping these script callable functions. It is actually a very different thing if someone is already standing next to something and writes a gameplay script which does something based on whether or not it can find a path to that thing, and then it returns false if you're standing next to it, it can actually be very confusing. It's like, why the hell are you reporting failure there? Because you're right next to the thing. So I think actually there's like only one correct answer here, which is this like not error, right? And if we add more kinds of errors here, you know, like an out of memory, or like, you know, like the nav mesh layer can return all kinds of errors, like the array length. Like, yes, we can find the path, but you didn't give me like a long enough temporary vector to hold all the points that can, you know, be used for that, stuff like that. If we add those kinds of errors here, we would actually probably have to like handle those cases as well. But anyway, I think this is probably good enough for now, at least. One thing that I was thinking of here, this is now the driving AI component, and we want to determine how far the object is from the destination, so that we can report, hey, we're already at the destination, right? And so that's like a whole thing in itself. How do you determine the distance from the vehicle to a position? Do you take it from the position in the transform? Well, that would completely break down with large vehicles, because the position can be like 10 meters away from the destination, but the thing is like literally standing right next to it. So we have a system for that, actually, and I think that thing comes from the actor context. Let's do a little bit more spitballing here. I'm gonna scope this just to make sure that we know what is actually part of this new investigation here. So this has a brain component. It's an optional brain component, shall we say? If self brain component, brain, and the brain component has something called an actor context. Actor context has a helper function called get actor distance to point. So here's where we can pass that point, actor target position, and we get distance here, distance like this. Now what this does actually is, if we have another component, means vehicle component, which currently all vehicles in this game have, because this is kind of what makes them a vehicle. We can get the vehicle distance to point, and it goes through some volumes here and calculates, how sort of close are you to this point. If it doesn't have it, then it falls back to this world position, which we already talked about later. Closest vertex, yeah. Well, that's kind of crazy. I mean, yeah, sure you could do it, but then what do you do? What are you actually using there? Are you using the render mesh? Well, first of all, the AI runs on the server, and the server doesn't have any render meshes, so like that would be a whole lot of geometry to run through just to get a distance, and we get these distances like all the time, multiple times per tick. But we don't have the render meshes there, so we can't do that. So what do you do instead? Do you use the collision, like convex hulls, to get the distance? That might work, but then the convex hull collision meshes are kind of approximate, and you would have to actually like load those into the physics layer, because they are like physics serialized convex hulls, and then get them back out of the physics engine and and load them just to get the distance from that. So I'm not doing that either. What I do instead is I just have a bunch of spheres, which we can look at if we look at this guy still here. Get vehicle distance to point. This guy has a bunch of spheres, volume spheres. You can see what this is. Volume sphere list is a bounded array of volume spheres, and volume sphere is just a position and a radius. So, depending on the shape of the object, you set these up basically in the editor for the object, so that it kind of roughly covers the shape of the object itself. And then certain objects like the mother vehicle, which has like cranes and things that move around, I also move around volume spheres in the local space of the object, so that like you can reach for other objects, you know, with the object itself. I can show you that in a little bit in the game actually. Anyway, so this is how we get like the kind of accurate enough distance from an object to a point, or for an actor specifically. But we do need the brain for it. And the brain is something that, first of all, it doesn't really make sense for an AI driving component to not have a brain, to not have an AI brain component. But the AI brain component only exists on the server. This guy runs on both client and server. And so I had a little bit of a think about this before I pressed record. And I think that we should probably assert that we are on the server here, because the NavMesh runtime, this can like technically be used from the client, but we might run into some threading issues if we do that. So I'm kind of hoping that none of my code does it. So what I'm gonna do here is do basis assert. Actually, I'll do just a assert without any description. And then I'll do a source, and then we'll do self context on server like this. Accessing the nav mesh on the client isn't safe anyway, right? And this thing obviously calls that, so it is kind of covered by it. This thing though is not. So if someone calls this directly, it goes directly to the drive line and calls for can find path to, but as you can see, can find path to actually calls the nav mesh. So let's put it there. So we should get some nice asserts there. Assert failures if we are not. If we are not on the server. Is this multiplayer? Now that is a philosophical question. I'm not promising multiplayer because I'm kind of thinking that I may not have the bandwidth to do that as a solo developer. But yeah, the engine has a client-server architecture, and every time I show off multiplayer on stream, it works pretty well, right? On like a, you know, in the sense that the gameplay code works like 95%. But of course, if I was to run it over the network, it would probably just break in spectacular ways. So I'm not promising multiplayer. My wish is to eventually let people play through the campaign in co-op, but probably even before that, you should be able to like mess around in sandbox mode over the internet. But I'm not even promising that on the Steam page. It's just completely single player for now. It does run the whole client-server architecture though, and it helps in certain ways because the client and server runs on different threads, and so we don't really have to do any sort of thread marshalling there because they are, you know, conceptually completely isolated from each other. So yeah, there's a little bit of help there. You see it in quite a few places actually, like this AI driving component here. This runs on both client and server, and this has some like propagated values here. You can see we have a boolean, we have another boolean, we have some input So we have floats. These are propagated, so the server writes them, the client reads them, the client can then do like its own client-side predictions on top of that stuff. But you see it in a few places like that. Okay, rightio. So, okay, now we have the distance. And the distance to the target position. And now we need to kind of determine, okay, how do we know, based on the distance, if we are close enough to the thing? And again, we have like vastly different sized vehicles here. We have mother vehicle, which is huge. We have the scout, which is tiny. They each, you know, might have their own idea of, am I close enough to a point to actually, you know, be considered at it. And so we have a solution for that. If I can remember where it is. Let's do self AI. Yeah, here it is actually. Driving profile. Let's see where this guy is used in this component in other places. Yes, so we do actually here in on object created, we do actually set an AI driving profile. And the AI driving profile contains like a whole bunch of different sort of values, tuning values for this particular vehicle, because the driving is vastly different depending on what kind of vehicle it actually is. So if we go have a look at what it has here, it has like calm speed, normal speed, fast speed, reverse speed, the front whiskers, the back or rear whiskers. So these are the things that like detect raycast, essentially, that detect like dynamic objects, things like that. Hazard avoidances, vehicle nav mesh radius, driveline position offset, and this is the value that we actually want to work with. Move to arrival, distance epsilon. So when we move to somewhere, what is the arrival distance? And epsilon is like, you know, the absolute difference between those two. And it's initialized to default, which is 3, basically. Let's see. Elite indie game piracy idea. An AI that watches the stream, copies the code, and for Blender copies the keystrokes and recreates the game. Yeah, good luck with that. That's all I'm gonna say on that front. Right, so we should have an AI driving profile here, but I mean, I check ifs in other places, so it's probably a good idea to do it for this one as well. So we'll do if self driving profile, and the driving profile then has this move to arrival distance epsilon. So if the distance is closer than this epsilon, actually, yeah, if we are returning an enum now. If the distance is closer to than this epsilon, then we return already at destination, right? We don't need that comment there anymore. So I think this should now be sort of like the idiomatic, if you will, way to check in this code base. Are we already at the place that you asked us to go? Check if we have an AI brain component. If we don't, then we just, you know, move on. Check the distance, and then we check if we have an AI driving profile. Again, if we don't have one, we just move along. Although we could just do this const epsilon, and we can do if self AI driving profile dp dp move else AI driving profile default, right? That should work. think that should work. How's that epsilon calculated? It's just input. It just comes from the data. So it should be all right. I mean, it's used in all kinds of places already, so I'm not super worried about it. If you really want to know, we can have a look here and see what it's set to for some of these vehicles. So, vehicle blueprints. I don't think I actually showed off the mother to you previously. We have mother here, which is just absolutely massive. Massive vehicle here. Yeah, vehicles don't have wheels here. It can be a little confusing. But the Scout is like, you know, not even as long as this dark part here. And this guy, if we have a look at the AI driving, it's right here, isn't it? Oh, it's actually, it comes from a JSON file, so I can hot reload it. Yeah, AI driving mother. Yeah, here we go. So this one has a move to arrival distance epsilon of 10, and I bet the Scout has a much lower. Yeah, it's a 3. So because this thing has like trouble getting into some smaller areas compared to the smaller vehicles, it also kind of considers to be, you know, at the place when it's like 10 units away. 10 units here would be 5 because we have grid cell 2 units. So so 5 of these grids here. So if the destination is here, it kind of stops 5 units away and then probably like slides a bit forward, which, you know, tends to look better than it like driving directly up against something. If we look at the Scout, now the grid cell is at 1 unit because this is much smaller, and this had it at 3, so it's like about there. It's the same thing. So it's just hand-tuned parameters essentially. Right. Okay, yeah, so this is the actual case that we want to cover now. Yeah, shut that down. Good. So, can find path to object EX. We do actually want the target position. We're gonna just pass that here, but I'm gonna rewrite this slightly. So let's do switch. And we can do driving, can find path to object EX, sender, search box size up, search box size, thank you, and then address of target position, right, and then if I can remember how to write one of these, it's like means.ai dot, actually it's probably just a dot, isn't it, success. Right? Something like that, and then we have the other ones, which I don't remember the path not found. Yeah, there we go. And then already at destination. That's that. And then we have the old code. Let's comment that out for now. Make sure this builds. Yeah, that builds. So that's good. So if we have success, basically what we need to do is just move on, right? If we can't find a path, we basically have this case here. So I'm gonna take these 3 rows or lines, whatever, and comment them out. So we do a debug warning, cannot move here, no path to target. That's only shown if you have the debug overlay. Done. But then we have the important thing here. Play radio bark, refuse movement. And so we can actually do the same. I'm just going to copy these 2. And like I said, I already have some dialogue written for this. No voice acting, of course, yet, because we have just the horrible text-to-speech, but the dialogue is there. So we already have already there underscore movement. That should be exactly what we want. Continue, basically. Right? I'm thinking this is all we need to do here, actually. Let's have a look. Alright, so again I'm gonna spawn in some test vehicles. We can't use some of these because I don't have the narrator set up to bark anything, but we can use the gripper truck.
Stellar. The unbang.
Yeah. Yeah, some of those lines are just, like I said, they're just absolutely completely broken. I don't know what that text-to-speech model is doing there, but it's just broken. Broken is what it is. Okay, so let's put an output there. We should be able to hot reload that in. Com radio component. So let's put a warning here. I'm gonna make this debug trace instead. And then we'll do already at target, right? So trace is sort of like an informational thing. And then, you know, we cannot move because we are already at target. And then we bark the thing. This is the thing that goes out to the player, right? Let's see if that actually works. So move here.
And then right here.
Yeah. Cannot move here, already at target.
Stellar. Already here.
Yeah, look at this.
Go ahead. Right here.
Yeah, the voices are horrible, but you know.
And then heading over.
Yep.
Stellar. On my way.
Oh, now it kind of didn't consider itself to be at the position.
Go ahead. The unbang.
Yeah, it's so broken, that audio there. It doesn't really matter. Which AI driving profile is that using? Because I think we need to actually fiddle with it a little bit. It's clearly not large enough because it keeps driving into us. Let's see. This is good. We're kind of finding a bug here. AI driving gripper truck. Okay, I'm not. I don't see it. Okay, so it's set to 4. Let's make that 5. And I think that should auto-update as well.
Stellar. On my way.
Yeah, because it's still kind of like pushing.
And then heading over.
Yeah. Still kind of pushing us a little bit. Let's make it something ridiculous, like, you know, 2000. Yeah, and let's see if it actually like updates.
Go ahead. Already here.
Yeah, so now it's like, we need to move 2 kilometers away for it to consider.
Stellar. Right here.
Yeah. Yeah, so the auto update works, but that thing just isn't, you know, high enough. What was it? It was set to 5. Let's set it to 6. Let's try to find a good value here.
And then already here.
Okay, so now it's already there.
Stellar. On my way.
Yeah, something is wonky here, clearly.
Go ahead.
into it again. I'm just so annoyed by that voice. That broken voice that I'm just gonna turn that off. Ah. Okay, let's do one thing. I'm gonna set that back to 5. I think 5 is probably reasonable. We're gonna launch it with a special launch flag. Server thread false. If we run the server on the same thread as the main one, we can do a whole lot of debugging. So, vehicles. And we can debug the AI brain. We can see where it is going and what it is thinking. And then we can also draw the nav mesh. Here we go. Which lowers the frame rate a whole lot, but it doesn't really matter here. So, Gripper truck, come to me. Because now we know where it is actually considering going, right? And I think we have we have arrival distance epsilon is 5. I don't think we have the distance here to that, but you know, Gripper truck, right here. Okay, so if we drive like here, and then we ask it. Move here. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, it's actually like driving around. It wants to go there. That's why. That is why it you know, figured that it actually needs to move. And it happened because it chose a point on the nav mesh on the other side of the scout. Which is, you know, it's fine. That's fine. It's not something I'm gonna tear my hair out of because of. I seem to have some serious stick drift. Gamepad. Let's see. Can we still access that? I see my camera is kind of like lowering itself all the time. I think that has something to do with my pad. Where's my gamepad? Gamepad. Joystick. Okay. Oh, it shut down the whole thing. Come on. Control panel, yeah. Input. Devices and printers. View devices and printers. Okay, this is really what we have. Alright, well, let's see. I have a controller. Here we go. Here's the controller. Can I... Don't I have the thing anymore? The good old... The good old display. What was it called? Device Manager. Device Manager is what it's called, and it still seems to be here. Good. Let's see. Xbox peripherals. Basically what I'm thinking here is that, like, what is the... There used to be a way to actually, like, you know, see the different sticks and all of that here. It's not something I can currently do in the game. How can I view it? Let me know in the chat if you have any ideas How can I view the sticks? Stick positions. Anyway, this seems to be working. Already here. Yes. Good, good. If we move just a little bit, it is possible that like this. Yeah, look at that. I didn't make that camera movement. So either there's a bug in my game, or there's some stick drift. I'm kind of thinking of blaming my gamepad this time around. Yeah, now it again it moved because it shows a point on this side rather than like here. That's just sort of like, you know, unfortunate random points selected on the nav mesh. We could add some code to actually select one closer to the target object rather than on the other side, but that's like a whole different system. Basically, the code that we wrote today is working fine. That said, I'm not sure if we need to actually up this value at all. It used to be at 4. I'm gonna have a look here to see. It is possible that the value at 4 is completely fine. I wants to go there, okay. Yeah, that's a little tight. You can see that changed here from 5 to 4. So now it's like right here, okay. If we move away again a little bit, now it shows an unfortunate point, and then it's gonna try to go there. And it managed. So yeah, I think actually the 5 there is probably the better value. So let's make it 5. That was a good tweak. That was a good tweak. Already here. Yep. Let's try it out with the mother vehicle and the scout as well, because in the campaign we have everything set up so that we can ask those other vehicles to do what we want. And yeah, we have the nav mesh still here rendering, which may be helpful or not, I don't know.
At least the elevator's still there after you vet.
We'll be right behind you. Minerva
Okay.
Station. This is Rowan Lance, comms operator of cargo platform 34. Do you copy? No answer. Let's go have a look.
Okay, so
Listen.
mother, come to me.
Repositioning.
So it's kind of nicely reaching its position there. And now if we ask it again.
Channel open. Already at location.
Yep. Nice.
Listening. Position reached already. Receiving. Already at location. Listening. Adjusting position.
Yeah, seems to work. Nice, actually like reversed there.
Receiving.
That was nice.
En route.
You can see the nav mesh getting sort of like retessellated around these objects as they move.
Channel open. Position reached already.
And then if you drive fast enough, it actually stops doing that. Like this now, it kind of like doesn't cut a hole into the nav mesh anymore until you once again slow down enough that it makes sense to do that. Because like fast moving objects doesn't really make sense to cut holes for, because by the time someone else has come there, they would already be somewhere else. So we just don't do that.
Listening. Repositioning.
Ow!
Receiving. Already at location.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good. Looks good. Seems to work well. Draw nav mesh. Get our frame rate back. At least a little bit. Like the frame rate isn't super great with when you're running both the client and the server on the same thread, but you can do all kinds of things with it that you can't otherwise do. So, such as debugging the AI brain.
Receiving. En route. Listening. Position reached already. Channel open. Adjusting position.
Yeah, you can see here what it has tried to do. Early reverse turn failed to complete. Early out due to obstacle, but then it actually arrived, so it didn't matter that
Receiving.
the reverse turn failed.
Repositioning.
The AI brain kind of writes a log of what it is doing. Like here, for example, performing reverse turn to face point. Reverse turn complete. So again, if we drive away, especially if we drive, you know, like far enough away, it's going to do most likely a reverse turn to face this point before it starts driving.
Listening.
Yes.
En route.
And then reverse turn complete. And then it kind of avoids us there at the end. You can see that this whisker here got red, which means that it fired. It probably wouldn't even have needed to do that, but it tries to not drive into dynamic objects if it can help it. So if we do that, do it here.
Channel open. Already at location.
Already at location. Okay, let's move away a bit further. Maybe here.
Listening. Adjusting position.
Actually, it's gonna manage fine. Oh, yeah, you can see it didn't drive into that rock there because it actually figured that it shouldn't do it. So that's what this early out to the predicted hazard means. There we go. Okay, this works. That's basically the gist of it. Very cool. So then the other thing that I was thinking we would do is annotate this level in a few places. Because I've gotten some reports of people getting stuck. And actually I managed to reproduce some of those myself. So let's launch the game. I'm just gonna put the master volume down. I'm gonna leave the voices there for the time being. Maybe even put it down a bit further. I just need it like so that I can hear that they are actually speaking. I don't particularly need to hear what they're saying. I'm still running on.
Here we are. Minerva lift station. fastest way up to the plateau?
At least the elevator's still there after you vet.
Right, so we're still running in single-threaded mode.
Minerva
I'm
Station.
gonna open
This is
a
Rowan
gate
Lance,
here.
comms operator of cargo platform 34. Do you copy? No answer. Let's go have a look.
So this script won't actually make like a whole lot of sense now, because I opened the gate there. You can see the gate is no longer closed.
Someone's parked over there.
Yeah, no one is parked over there anymore because
Power back on.
I opened the gate.
Power station should be around here somewhere. Follow the power lines.
And of course I kind of broke the mission script there by opening that gate. But I want this guy. And let's ask the scout to come with us. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Actually, we can test that out with Diego here as well.
Receiving.
Hey, what's up? Be right
Hey,
there.
what's up? Be right there. Okay, so now that he is right here, if we ask him again.
Go here. On my way. Hey, what's up? Beat you to it.
Yeah,
Diego here. I'm here already.
yeah. So it does work, kind of regardless of vehicle, right? So let's get the gripper truck to follow us, because it is one of the vehicles that you can kind of get into a bit of a pickle here.
Stella, on my way.
Let's run another script here to remove the fallen smokestack from the ramp.
That's a lot of smoke. What happened over there?
Turbo line blue. Looks recent.
So basically,
The smokestack is blocking the way.
So much for getting in that way.
yeah, it's not of course an issue.
Can find a way around.
Usually it lies here, but I just removed it using a debug script as well. So if we ask Stellar to come here, to about the center of this ramp, and it will take a little bit of time before he arrives.
Go ahead.
You see, where is he now? It's right there. What are you doing? Oh, what is going on? Haha! Look at this. Stupid man. This is a new one. Interesting. So yeah, you can see those red spheres there. The red spheres mean that there is no nav mesh there, and that of course makes sense, because as you can see there is no nav mesh. This thing has cut a hole through it. So why is it still giving a path through that? That's very weird. That should of course never happen. The path should go around the mother vehicle. And you can see the path actually updating, because you can see these things kind of moving slightly. So it just keeps returning the same path over and over. And it goes right through the mother vehicle. Huh. What's that about? Other than that, the path looks looks good. It tries to stay on the road, and it does. These 1.0 and here slightly lower, those are our speed scores that the driveline has predicted that the thing should have. So on straights, it drives basically at full speed, 1.0, and then when it has these corners here, it kind of slows down a little bit, and then it goes full speed again until it reaches this. For the last point, it has 0.2. That's completely fine. But why in the world does it go straight through the mother vehicle? Why does it not see that, hey, we are actually blocking the way? Let's switch to this guy. And I'm gonna move this a little bit so that that guy is no longer. Let's move the camera a little bit this way. Right, so there we go. Yeah, it really does not care that the mother vehicle is over there. Should just be able to push this guy back, I think. Yep, we have two different nav meshes. We have the mother nav mesh, we have the main nav mesh, and places 0 and 1. Yeah, this is a pretty bad bug. This needs to go on the to-do list unless we can figure it out right now. I do wonder how it doesn't see that. Let's move back to... Actually, I can probably just spawn a vehicle here for myself. Let's spawn a scout here. Set that as the avatar. And we ask the gripper truck to come to us. Yeah, look at that. Now it does. Now it does it. Now it realizes that it needs to... Well, it's a little confused. But still, now it realizes that it needs to drive around the mother vehicle. Okay. Good, good. Okay, come here.
Listening.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
On me.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Is this like a distance thing? I wonder. So again, gripper truck. Move here. You can see, yeah, it drives around the mother vehicle now. It doesn't drive into it. Look at that. Very cool. Well, it drives into it a little bit. Might have to adjust some radii still. But like it basically works. Which is nice.
Still on. On me.
But I wonder if is it like if we ask it, you know, far away enough to come to us. Let's have it drive back there to the other side of it. And then I'm gonna drive this and just like drive pretty far away from here. Does it actually brake if you're far enough away? Or what is actually happening? What is Oh, you know what? I think I know what is going on here. I think I know what is going on here. But let's actually verify that that is the case. Now, it may or may not actually happen now, but let's see. So, gripper truck, come to me. Yeah, now it actually doesn't. Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna set him as my avatar. I'm gonna move him back here. You're not gonna move. Not gonna move there. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Set that as our avatar. Move it here. And now, gripper truck, move here. And now again, it drives through that thing. So, you know, there's something a little magical about this. And I think what is happening here is the fact that we have something called soft obstacles and hard obstacles. Oops, I still have the free camera enabled. So when the mother vehicle here cuts these holes into the nav mesh, it does so through a nav mesh obstacle component, which is right here. And we can see its obstacle type is set to soft. Yeah, I wonder how does it actually define these places here, but I don't remember. Oh, it probably actually has two of them, yes. There's one which is in the front and it has one which is in the back. That's true. Nav mesh obstacle front and back, exactly. So that's like two spheres here, cutting these holes, right? Whoops, sorry, I'm hitting my microphone here. And the fact that they're soft means that agents can ignore them if they can't find any other way to get to the target. So I think what is actually happening here is that when we are navigating to this, we are for some reason failing the first check, which is like, can you find a path to this object while avoiding all of the soft obstacles? And if it fails, it goes, okay, so now you are allowed to avoid or rather remove all the soft obstacles from the nav mesh and only consider the hard obstacles. And then it does the same thing again. And of course, if we remove this thing, then this would be the place for it to drive, like exactly this path here. And we can verify that by going into driveline.zig, search for navmesh runtime, find raw path. It's probably here, is it? Find path with filter. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so here is the path that it's taking. And we will go into this one. We're gonna go into recast, which is the navmesh middleware that I'm using. Right, so go here, navmesh runtime, find path, and we can see try the primary channel. I'm thinking this will probably fail, so it will fall back to this guy. No path was found on the primary channel. Try with hard obstacles only. And yeah, look at that. Look at that. So result is, what is result here? This is okay. Yeah. And it's gonna do one more. Bloops. I'm gonna take that away and just go here. And we can see what is the thing that it is actually returning. Find path internal. Find the start polygon. Oh. Oh no, okay, that's not actually it. Yeah, so it fails to find a path. Could not find path. And then returns here. Okay. Huh. Of course, the interesting thing here is like, okay, why does it do that? Hey, Xluxy, welcome back. Yeah, we're debugging we're debugging this thing. We're debugging the very, very intelligent AI. Drift again. Yeah, we're debugging my very, very intelligent AI agent here. Look at them go. And I just figured out why this happens. Or let's say I figured out part of why this happens. Now the really interesting thing would be to figure out why is the path actually failing. I wonder if we should start with the larger search box when we're figuring out those. Come on. Yeah, my gamepad is clearly just like breaking down completely. Because the waypoint goal failed because the target is blocked by the other car. So, yeah, I'll quickly run through this again. What is actually happening here? So, this large vehicle here has two nav mesh obstacles. You can see if we drive around this, it kind of retessellates the nav mesh here, and it has these kind of two spheres that get tessellated into the nav mesh. These are so-called soft nav mesh obstacles. And queries, by default, try to find a path avoiding all obstacles. And if that fails for one reason or another, then it does the thing again, removing all the soft obstacles, only keeping hard obstacles around. So hard obstacles would be things like this gate here, right? If we close this now from a debug script, close main gate, you can see that it like tessellated some spheres here as well. These are hard obstacles. Hard obstacles can never be ignored. But soft obstacles can, because it's generally better for an object if a vehicle is kind of slightly blocking its path. It's generally better for the agent to try to kind of push it away a little bit, rather than just going like, nah, I don't know, I can't find a path. So that's why we have this distinction here. But hard obstacles, it should never try to just drive into the wall there, because that's not going to help it, right? So this is exactly what is happening here. For one reason or another, it fails to find a path unless it just ignores the mother vehicle standing in front of it. And and of course the mother vehicle has a little bit of an unfortunate shape there, that it has this kind of recess here that it can kind of drive into and then get stuck. So not even these things called the whiskers, that are these green lines, are gonna save it, because they don't hit anything. They would hit like the wheels, for example, but they don't hit there because there's this kind of almost perfect storm of geometry here. So now the question is, okay, why does that initial path fail? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in my opinion. Let's make that our car again, and let's drive it into the lift station. Drive it backwards a little bit to see what happens. Hey, Deaton Berry, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate the support. And of course, this only happens if you ask it to come here. And I've had some kind of similar nav mesh issues in the past with vehicles up there on the refinery. There's something a little magical about the refinery and nav meshes. Now let's see what happens. So I think it kind of looked like it would initially go around it, but now it is still... Yeah, it's just driving into it. The Scout is also a soft blocker. It might fail at the end, but removes all soft blocks. Well, the Scout is over here, so the Scout is not really... affecting anything. If you're talking about this gripper truck here, you can see that it's also a soft blocker, yeah, until it reaches a top speed. So what is potentially happening here is that this guy just can't find, can't sort of get started with the whole ray or the whole path construction because there's too many blockers here. That doesn't explain though why it works if we just drive the Scout down from here, right? If we drive it down like here, maybe something like this. Put the handbrake on. Do gripper truck move here, and I'm gonna pause the game so that I can fly over here and see what it actually does. Look at this. Now it immediately realized that hey, I need to go around the mother vehicle here. Yeah, it kind of has some like analysis paralysis, trying to decide which way around it's gonna go, but it's still like now it works. So there's also something weird going on with this ramp here, which just causes it to fail those paths if you drive up onto that ramp. And I'm not exactly sure what that is. But we'll see. I'm gonna go get a glass of water. I've been yapping for so long. Okay, so we have a few things that we can try here. And let's drive this thing back up here. And if we are lucky, then we can actually hot update. Oh, look at this. Now we have somehow reached... Okay. Chill out, dude. Now we have somehow reached that place again. I wonder, is it... Oh, you know what that is? You know what that is? Let's look at let's look at the correct nav mesh. I now realize what this is. Yeah, this is the mother nav mesh. You can see that the whole ramp is excluded from here. For example, if we go to nav mesh number 0, we now can see that, okay, yes, we can drive up this thing. You know what this is. This is like a perfect combination of things to go wrong. A series of unfortunate events, if you will. This guy is cutting a hole into our nav mesh. There's only one way up, one unblocked way up onto the refinery. I now actually realize what is magical about this refinery. I realize everything in one go here. If this vehicle asks the other vehicle, hey, come to me, and it is itself cutting a hole into the nav mesh, it needs to decide either, do we want to put the target position here, or do we want to put the target position here, right? If it puts the target position here, on top of this, like, or in front of this vehicle, and the other guy is like, you know, down below, that means that there's no path to this guy because this thing is blocking the way itself, right? And so, yeah, that path just fails. Not because of anything here on this side. This is all completely fine, but it fails because this scout is also here. I mean, if that is what Tomtefan tried to tell me, then yeah, I mean, I'm stupid. Yes, and thank you, and I'm sorry. That makes perfect sense. So this thing actually kind of sabotages the whole thing for the other vehicle by just standing here. If it decides to select a point from here, right? If it selects a point from this one, then it would work. But that's clearly not what happens. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So now then, if we ask it to, let's drive a little bit further, just so we have a slightly different place here, and then we ask it to come to us. We can see that, okay, it tries to come here, and it fails. Like, you can clearly see that the last point, Jesus, this is fast, this camera. Let's use the gamepad here. You can clearly see that this last point that it's trying to come to is in front of this vehicle. That is why the initial path fails. That is why this guy just completely gives up on all soft obstacles, including the mother vehicle, which happens to stand on the road. That, however, does not fail. That succeeds, and so it just tries to get up here. So the fix here would be to basically do this. We just move out of the way, and now the thing should kind of solve itself. Yes, you can see it now. Now it like immediately solves itself, and now the thing realizes that, oh, okay, I need to drive around this thing. Well, it's still pretty bad actually at doing that, but you know, eventually it will decide, yes, okay, yeah, here's some stuff, I need to drive around it, and now it works. The debug visualization looks really cool. Oh, thank you. I mean, if you mean the nav mesh, then it's just the nav mesh that comes with Recast. If you mean this series of like of lines and spheres, then yes, those are mine. Thank you. Happy to see that they're useful. They are pretty useful. Okay, but this is now a this is the problem, basically. The fix to this is not actually super simple, but it's probably still something that I should be able to fix.
Look at the size of that hole.
Yes.
Must have been one hell of an explosion. Should we be this close? Get what we need and clear out.
Indeed. Right. So basically, if we are standing on a ramp like that, let's move this guy off to the side a little bit so that we can move the gripper truck up here.
On my way.
I'm gonna turn the nav mesh drawing back on and then maybe move that over there. Thank you. Have to go back to work. Wishlisted. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you for the wish list and thank you for the kind words. Hope to see you again, maybe in an upcoming stream. So, right. If we now ask the guy to come to us,
Go ahead.
and it should basically still do the same thing, where it is now ignoring the soft collisions or soft obstacles, because this last point is here on the other side of this scout, right? And the thing is probably like doing some reverse turns here up top. Yes, there we go. It needs to navigate this. It's not super simple, but it can just about manage it. Okay, I'm gonna pause it here so we can take a look at this situation here. So basically what needs to happen here is that if we have a case like this, where we want to essentially like move to this position, but it is blocked, then we need to make sure that, okay, if the path kind of leads to in this direction, away from the vehicle, then we need to select the point on this side of the obstacle, not on this side. Because currently what we're doing is that we're asking the nav mesh, hey, give me a random point around this obstacle, and it just randomly selects one. And it clearly quite often just selects one on the other side of the obstacle itself. So I need to write some code to, you know, make that happen at least less often. Because if we had selected it here, then the initial path would be completely fine, the one including all the soft obstacles, right? And that would solve this ramp issue that we're having here. Not sure I'm like mentally set up to do that today though. I had planned to do one other fix related to this path. This did, however, take so long to do that I'm wondering if I need to postpone that as well. I can show you the issue though. Maybe we can quite simply fix that. That should be just a data thing actually. Can you go a little bit out of the way? Can you? No, thank you. Thank you. Here we go. So now if we drive up here, I'm gonna drive out here into the clearing to avoid any issues. So now if we ask the guy to come to us, the gripper truck is probably gonna try to attempt a reverse turn here, which is obviously a bad idea. Like, you get into the whole Austin Powers situation pretty quickly. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, look at that. So they kind of immediately go into this Austin Powers thing. They can't even like really do like a 90-degree turn because they are so scared of the edge there. And like this is what happens, right? And this is not good. Maybe do a few smaller things instead. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Hey Matt, welcome back. Let's fly here and see what it is actually, how it is doing here. So if we debug this guy's brain, we can see that it fails a whole bunch of reverse turns, and now it's like I seem to be stuck performing reverse turn to get unstuck. But then of course the reverse turn doesn't, like, it already failed. So now we are like properly in Austin Powers land. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, you should know what I'm talking about, but it's basically this case here, where he's stuck in like a hallway with a truck like this. And so, what can we do to fix this then? Well, we actually have some tools to deal with these situations, but they kind of require a little bit of work on the data side. And basically what we can do is we can mark certain parts of the level as being no reverse turn zones. So rather than attempting reverse turns, it will try to reverse out of there. If only they had an emergency jetpack, yes. If only. Matt, of course, is referring to the mod that we made for the Scout, which gives it a jetpack to fly around with. Or I don't know if that was what you were referring to, but but I'm kind of thinking it may have been. Okay, so no reverse turn zones. You can see that we actually have a bunch of them already here under this. So they can be either spheres or boxes. These, however, are set to be mother only, and they're kind of like below this ramp, right? So we need to mark this as well, and we need to basically have it cover only the ramp, but they should not be mother only. They should be all AIs. That probably concerns Scouts as well. I don't think Scouts are supposed to do reverse turns here either. Oh, can we not? Oh, we cannot. Yeah. Okay. This is a little bit of a. This is a little bit of a thing, isn't it? That's actually pretty annoying. But okay. I think we move that a bit further down. Yeah, you can't rotate them currently. I mean, you can rotate them, yes, like this, perhaps, but you're just rotating the object here in the editor. Yeah, it was a decision I made at some point. I can't exactly remember why. Probably just because it allows me to do AABB checks in the game, which of course are pretty fast. I think that's why I did it that way. But it's fine. I mean, we can definitely cover this area with these guys. It's not a biggie. I'm gonna make that a little lower, actually. Gonna make some of these, basically all of those, not that, but those three, a bit lower as well. this is actually perfectly fine. Like if someone goes in here, they should not attempt any reverse turns. So I'm actually gonna make this a little wider. Not a whole lot, but a little. It's good if it covers all of this area here. Actually, I'm just gonna go to town on this. Just make it cover that entire area there. Like that. So now, actually cancel. That thing is probably... Okay, it's actually probably okay. Maybe I'll move it down a little bit. And then I can make it a little lower as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's alright. Okay, now we should be able to at least have this ramp working properly with AIs. So let's go back into the game. And let's see what happens. There's one other place actually here as well that I found myself. It was not reported to me, but this place here. This is a place where the mother vehicle itself can get stuck, so I think we're gonna...
Minerva lift station. Fastest way up to the plateau.
Yeah.
At least the elevator's still there.
So let's
You vet.
open the main gate.
Right behind you.
I'm gonna hack the single player mission script here a little bit. I'm gonna switch to this guy. If we switch to it once, then we enable its radio essentially.
No answer.
And that means that
Have a look.
we can ask the gripper truck to come to us. And then I'm gonna drive the
Smoke. What happened over there?
scout over here.
Looks recent. Whoa, the smokestack is blocking the way.
So much for getting in that way.
I'm sure that you can find a way around.
Right, so something like that. Come there, please. Then we're just gonna remove this. Destroy. Game object.
You're inside the refinery. Maybe you can reach
Yes.
the lift station from there.
I think we should put one of those zones
Get the power
on top of that bridge as well.
Power station should be around here somewhere.
Probably shouldn't attempt to do any sort of reverse turns there. Okay, where is the gripper truck now then? There he is. Hello. Yeah, I like that icon that we have nowadays that pings where the receiver is. So if you're standing here and you're like, you know, you wanna know where your buddies are, you can go like radio mother, ping, and you know that okay, she's over there. Gripper truck is over there. That's cool. So now that it approaches, we're gonna actually switch to it and turn it around. This, of course, is not something that you can do in the final game. You can't like switch vehicles quite like this. You can drive up to them and switch to them that way, but not by actually using these debug menus that I'm using currently. Oh no, we're stuck. So if we park this guy now on the ramp, and then you know, facing the wrong way like this, and then we ask it to come to us. Gripper truck, come to us. Look at this. Now it actually reverses up the ramp. Again, the camera is a little fast. Now it reverses up the ramp until it gets to the place where it's no longer in a reverse turn zone.
Look at the size of that hole.
Must have been one hell of an explosion.
So it should probably do a reverse turn right about now.
Clear out.
Yes, now that it has space again. can do a reverse turn and come to us. Isn't that cool? Okay, that's neat. Actually, did I ever ask it to come to us when I was standing closer to the power plant? I think I did, but I might not have done it. Yeah, evidently I did not. Yeah, it's driving into things, maybe a little too aggressively.
That's a power cell dispenser. It makes power cells on demand. Drive under it. Activate it. Pops out a fresh one.
The
Never seen one.
The gripper truck is a little tricky to drive, even for a human player. So let's ask it to come. Let's ask it to come here under the power cell dispenser. Oh, here. I want to see it make like a reverse turn switch, and then properly drive away, so to speak. So again, it reverses up there, then it does a reverse turn, and then it crosses the bridge. Nice. Sweet. Yep, that looks good. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so we can fix these issues in this way. However, we are going to want to spend a bit of time on that path bug. That was a bad one. And it makes perfect sense, actually, why it happens. But it's not really anything I've thought all that much about. Yeah, that was mother only. Yes, mother should not attempt to make reverse turns there. And then we take one of these guys and we move them here. About here, around this guy. Maybe I'll make it a sphere. Make it ever so slightly larger. Let's not attempt to make any reverse turns on top of that. That would be pretty stupid. There are other places here as well, like, you know, if you have a vehicle here, then it probably shouldn't do a reverse turn, so yeah, maybe we can do this as well. It might, of course, be kind of neat to be able to specify these areas using the same kind of polygonal tools that I use to specify the nav mesh areas, so things like roads and that sort of thing. And that's something that I could definitely implement. That way we wouldn't need to have this many areas here, or zones as these are called. Like, for example, if we have nav mesh roads, we have these junctions. So here's a junction, and it has these polygonal areas that you can set up. I think here's another one. Yeah, here's a pretty big one. You can actually edit these by just clicking the points, and then we can see Alt plus left mouse button moves the point, so you can edit the area like this, and then it becomes an actual area in the level. It would take a little bit more power to you know, to evaluate these zones if we did that, but it could be pretty useful, and we could also speed it up by testing first against the AABB and then against those. So maybe that's something that I need to do. Then I could set up this ramp here as one polygonal area, and also drag like pull the points so that they match the edge of this cliff and all of that. That could be kind of nice. Maybe I need to do that at some point. But for now we have these areas, but it does look a little stupid here in the editor when we have all of these icons. You can of course hide them. You can just hidden, and now it's not showing. Maybe we'll do that with all of them for now. Bloops. Now they are at least not annoying us here. So yeah, okay. This was an interesting stream. I got some pretty good work done. But we also found some pretty bad bugs, to be honest. So yeah, here's clearly one place I should have one of those areas. Yeah, I think this is almost like too tight to even make a proper reverse turn. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, interesting stream. Wasn't as chaotic as yesterday, and of course we had one really bad bug, but we also figured out what is actually causing that. So that was good. And yeah, I got at least a few of these to-do items off the pre-alpha 4 list. What if we take that guy, duplicate it, and move it here? I'm gonna unhide it very quickly. I'm gonna do this now because then I can tick it off the list as well, right? Just mark up this area as being a no reverse turn zone. Maybe something like that, and then 40. Yeah, that looks good. Let's make it a bit taller. Something like that. That should be alright. Don't try to make any reverse turns there, please. Yeah, you have to help out the AI a little bit here in these levels. Maybe we should annotate this as well, but I'm not gonna worry about all of that right now. But yeah, I will export this. We will have a final drive through this level. Oh, wait a minute. There's one which is not... Oh, drive slow zones. Ah. Wonder if we should make the refinery a drive slow area. Especially since the... Yeah, that's a drive slow area, and that's a drive slow area. Let's try that. Let's try that as the last thing today. I think I'm done after that. It's getting kind of late here anyway. The bridge I would make slow. Oh, you mean this ramp here? This is actually not a very tricky place for the AIs to drive, as long as they don't try to make any reverse turns. But I think we will make basically all of the refinery a drive slow area. Yeah, 0.5 is probably okay. I can even make it like 0.6 or something. You don't want to make it too slow, like that just feels bad as well. Let's make it like 100 and 100 probably. Maybe it could cover that as well. Yeah, why not? 120, 120 should probably do it. That looks okay. And we'll make it a bit taller again. Yeah, and then we can have a little bit of a test with the gripper truck here and see what actually happens. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of streams, this. Because I had selected for both streams things that I thought were going to be pretty simple. Of course, today it was pretty simple. We got the whole radio communication funkiness fixed and tweaked pretty well. But then we ran into that weird bug there, which I had not anticipated. Yeah, okay. So now that we've switched to that, we can once again ask it to come to us.
Minerva Station. This is Rowan Lance, comms operator of cargo platform 34. Do you copy? No answer. Let's go have a look. That's a lot of
Alright.
smoke. What happened over there?
Whoa, the smokestack is blocking the way.
Yes. Whatever will we do about the smokestack? We will just
So much
delete
for
it.
getting in that way.
Bye bye.
I'm sure it can find a way around.
You're inside the refinery. Maybe you can reach the lift station from there.
Yes,
You're
maybe.
in. Let's get the power back on.
That's the power cell dispenser. Power station should be around here.
Yeah, the dialogue is just completely crazy here because like I keep essentially like teleporting between these vehicles. The script is not set up to handle that sort of thing, right? Okay, so what do we have? We have a current target speed fast 55. I haven't really messed around with these slow drive zones a whole lot, but it should work. Let's see what when it enters this, it should fall. 59. So when it enters the refinery, roughly. Yeah, you can see now it's 25, 28. So it's maybe even slightly too slow, but I think it probably makes a lot of sense to have it be pretty slow here. So we're gonna put the guy through his paces, navigating this thing a little bit. Actually, I wanna have him drive here first onto the ramp. Move here. And then once he has done that, I will ask him to come here. So he needs to do like a tight curve around that.
Look at the size of that hole.
Must have been one hell of an explosion. Should we be this close? Get what we need and clear out. And
Alright, so now of course he is inside a no reverse turn zone. No? What? Oh, is it an overlapping zone issue? Do we have an overlapping zone issue here? That is possible. Yeah. I think that is the case. Yeah, see, this zone system is a little pants. Right? It's a little pants. which of them is that one? And so first of all, we don't need those. They are kind of sitting on top of each other. Not mother only. Yeah. I'm gonna take that one away. I'm just gonna be okay with the zone system being a little pants right now. Although that is going to be a problem as well. What was the thing here with zone component? Is point inside no reverse turn zone. No, this should actually work. As far as I know. Let's see. Is point inside no reverse turn zone. I think that is that's what's called here from the AI driving component. Yes. And get driving speed multiplier as well. Right? Yes. Exactly. So for driveline position, how is the guy actually doing? Like, he's doing his reverse turn now, and I'm thinking what is happening here is somehow this thing doesn't actually fire because there's like an overlapping driving speed, like slow zone is driving speed, but looking at this code, it doesn't actually seem to be the case. Applies to vehicle is no reverse turn mother only, or vehicle type mother. Yeah, that should be completely fine. It doesn't fire though. This one probably fires. No, doesn't do it either. Actually, yes, it does. It just doesn't check it all the time. Like, this guy should report when they are inside of a no return. No reverse turn zone, right? Let's see. Let's bring that up a little bit. We can see the log, and they will ask the guy to come to us again. Gripper truck. Move here. Wanted to do a reverse turn in no reverse turn zone, enabled reverse mode. Okay. Okay, no, it does work. No longer in reverse turn zone, yeah. Okay, yeah, it does work. The reverse turn zone should maybe cover that place a little better though, because he's getting a little bit Austin powered there again. I think what maybe happened here is that these guys don't cover the space well enough or something. They kind of look like they should. Evidently they kind of don't. So something along those lines, maybe. And yeah, you can clearly see that, like, I need better tools to be able to model these zones nicely, right? Either we need to be able to rotate them so they are no longer axis aligned bounding boxes, but rather oriented bounding boxes, or I need to make it so that we can have those what do you call them? Polygons. That's what you call them. Yeah, something like that. These are all no reverse turn zones. Yes. They do not concern only mother. All of that should be good. None of them concern only mother. Yeah. Okay, let's try again, one last time. Yeah, my brain is kind of fried here. I'm sure you can tell. Getting a bit incoherent at times. But hey, it happens. Okay, let's remove the
Minerva lift station.
smokestack and open main gate.
Elevators still there after you vet.
I'm gonna wait until the camera snaps to that guy. There we go. It's a scripted thing, so it always happens.
Comms operator of cargo platform 34. Do you
There we
copy?
go.
No answer. Let's go have a look.
Stella, heading over.
That's a lot of smoke. What happened over there?
Turbine blow. Looks recent. Whoa, the smokestack is blocking the way.
So much for getting in that way.
I'm sure that you can find a way around. Go ahead. On me.
You're inside the refinery. Maybe you can reach the lift station from there.
And then, Jet, get there.
You're
Can't
in.
get there.
Let's get the power back
We
on.
should be able to get there.
Power station should be around here somewhere. Stella, heading over. Follow the power lines.
Alright, there is our truck. Like I could also just spawn one of those vehicles in the correct place. The problem is with the radio system that it needs a little bit of setup for the player to be able to reach those guys over radio. And currently objects don't come with the radio system like pre-enabled, so to speak. So the easiest way to do that is typically to just, you know, use the system that, or use the vehicles that are configured for the single player campaign. And that's why I'm sort of like hacking this mission here to get these vehicles into position. But yeah, it could be changed so that it would be easier to actually use those like spawned vehicles with the radio. That could be a pretty good thing to do. Alright, so now let's see if that guy understands that he shouldn't make reverse turns here on the ramp. Okay,
The size of that hole.
come to me.
Must have been one hell of an explosion. Should we be this close? Get what we need and clear out.
Alright, move here. Oh, look at that. Performing a reverse turn. Predicted hazard in the trajectory. For some reason, it is not realizing that it is inside of a no reverse turn zone. How peculiar. Zone manager is inside no reverse turn zone. It actually does seem to return true, does it? No? Apparently not. Okay, let's pause the game here for a little bit. I'm gonna do const inside. I'm gonna move this guy out. And again, we can use our wonderful hot reloading for this. So applies and inside. Alright, like that. So we can see, okay, does it apply to vehicle? Is it inside? And of course, we're gonna have a bunch of them that are not inside, but we should have at least one that is inside. Access denied. That is because of the level editor. So let's unload that. I mentioned in my blog post on the hot reloading stuff that this is kind of my favorite thing about hot reloading, is being able to do this debugging using hot reloading. Super handy. Okay, so we are actually getting, let's pause this again. We're getting applies true, inside false, inside true. Inside true, inside true. Okay. That's interesting. We can take those away though. So if we are inside of a reverse turn zone, why is it still no longer in no RT zone? We are inside a no reverse turn zone. Reverse along the drive line instead. Yeah, let's put a breakpoint there and see what happens. Oh, I'm blocking the output there. That's why the game stops. Okay. If we have reversed out of the blah blah blah. What is this actually? It's tick. Okay, so let's put a breakpoint there. Let's see if it should hit this momentarily. There we go. So in no reverse turn zone is true. Okay, check if we are stuck. Wait a few seconds after switching modes before doing this, as it can take some time, especially for bigger vehicles to get moving. Right, and then it does a reverse turn. And then it goes here. Yeah, this is the problem with debugging Zig code. It's a little jumpy. But basically it is stuck, so it tries to do a reverse turn. Even though it is in a no reverse turn zone. Okay. Check if we should turn around or start reversing along the drive line instead. It jumps from that to over there. What I'm kind of thinking is that, like, we should go here, but we don't seem to ever get there. And I think the issue here is that we're doing it here. I seem to be stuck, performing reverse turn to get unstuck. So basically, like, is stuck and not in no reverse turn zone, right? That would be a good way to get out of this mess. The problem, of course, here being that, like, it is already stuck. But if we kind of get it unstuck like this, it's not super tricky to do. Just get it unstuck like this. And now we ask it to come to us. Now that we have this additional check here. Alright. Ah, it's doing something stupid again. Let's see here. If reverse mode enabled, we have reversed out of the... Right, okay. Performing reverse turn, predicted a hazard in the trajectory. Aha. Yeah, so the zone logic here is actually not the problem. The zone logic works. I think that we're just not... We're not considering zones in this particular case. Which is a little weird because, like... Yeah, it is predicting hazards, sure. But like that the same thing should be basically happening in those other cases where we are using no reverse turn zones just quite successfully, right? So let's clear the log here. Clear log like this, and then see what is happening. I'm going to actually take away that thing that I added there because it was added kind of willy-nilly.
Go ahead.
There we go. Now we have hot reloaded the thing. River truck and move here. Performing a reverse turn predicted a hazard in the trajectory. Yeah, so it does that immediately. And it never checks if we are in a no reverse turn zone. Here. Like these are the only places we actually do that. Check it here and we check it here. Right, so we are no longer in a no reverse turn zone, and here we are like, okay, if we are in a reverse turn zone. So I'm wondering here if is it here that we should actually check this condition? We don't want to do a reverse turn if we are in a reverse turn zone. What? Is this not defined here? Oh. I think we actually wanna do this check here again. So, you know, if we have decided that, like, okay, we have predicted a hazard, and we might want to do a reverse turn zone, then we want to check, are we actually inside one of those no reverse turn zones? I seem to be stuck. Okay. It's always the problem here that, like, we kind of let this guy run free when he is already in a state of panic, right? Already in a state of, like, things have gone wrong. Doesn't really matter if we fix the issue because things have already gone wrong. So okay, let's see. Look at that. Okay, wanted to do no reverse turn in no RT zone. Enable reverse mode. So now he doesn't try to panic reverse turn if he is inside of a no reverse turn zone, right? Yeah, I need to make that zone a bit longer, quite simply, so that it covers more of that top part there. I think this is the right fix here, actually. So let's fiddle with this a little more, even though I've gone basically like an hour more than I figured I would now. Okay, so we can see that the zone it like basically runs along this line here, more or less. So in that sense, he should be clearly inside of of this case. The problem now is that we have another case here which tries to do a reverse turn. That is the I am stuck thing. And I think if we are actually stuck, then that is one place where we might actually want to allow reverse turns, even though we are inside of a no reverse turn zone, because if he is stuck from not having to, not having been allowed to do reverse turns, then he might, might as well try to make a reverse turn. So I think in this case, actually, it's like a data problem. We need to make this zone just slightly larger. Let's make it 25, 25. Okay, 25. That is actually the important axis. 30 even. Yeah, this is not the important axis. This is. Then we have those two kind of overlapping. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna actually just shut that down. We need to restart the game anyway when the level was exported. We can't hot update a level because that could change basically anything, scripts and things that are already running. So you can't actually hot update those. But okay, let's see if we can get this problematic case of ours solved now without having to do any kind of fudging with the AI itself. I'm still gonna fudge this script here, of course.
Here we are, Minerva lift station, fastest way up to the plateau.
And again, the reason I changed to this guy for a little bit is that way we can actually reach him by radio, because it's actually scripted in the single player mission in this level that like when you find that vehicle, its radio is turned on.
Let's go have a look.
And we're gonna have a dev script actually for that as well. That might be kind of handy.
That's a lot of smoke. What happened over there?
Whoa, the smokestack is blocking the way. Turbo line low. Oops, reset.
So much for getting in that way.
I'm sure that you can find a way around.
You're inside the refinery. Maybe you can reach the lift station from there.
And then,
You're in. Let's get the power back on.
power station should be around here somewhere.
Look at the size of that hole.
Follow the power lines. Must have been one hell of an explosion. Should we be this close? Get what we need and clear out. Go ahead.
All right. He's taking a different route this time. Let's debug the AI brain again. And we can see, okay, what do we have? Current speed 60 kilometers per hour. That's okay. Right, okay, they're going this way. This will be interesting actually, which if I ask them to come to the scout, which way are they actually gonna go? Let's see what happens. Yeah, they're going that way. Okay, that's nice. Let's see if they can actually make their way over there. I'm gonna have to make a reverse turn there at least. Yep. kind of nice seeing sort of what the what the AI is thinking here in the log. So I'm not gonna allow it to go all the way. I'm gonna set it as the avatar here, and we're gonna basically position it here in this place where it is a little problematic. You can see some funky things happening here when we have the debug, the brain debug on, but then we actually disable the AI by getting this vehicle ourselves. Like the the debug spheres stay there in the world space. It's a little bit of a byproduct. Okay, so now gripper truck, move here. Wanted to do reverse turn in no RT zone. Okay, it's reversing out of that and then doing a proper reverse turn. Okay, nice. Nice. Hey, you made it. Good job. Let's come back here. This was a little strange. Like it did a reverse turn first for some reason, which I think is completely unnecessary there. But, you know, what do I know? Oh, it's driving into those. Do they not actually have... I can pause this as well and look at the nav mesh. Yeah, those guys don't actually have any obstacles set up for them, as you can see. So it doesn't know how to avoid them. Okay. Well, they probably should have, at least those big ones. Let's add that to the list, actually. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we're being a little bit unfair to you here, Mr. Stellar. I'm just gonna delete these guys here so that it actually can get around here. Okay, there you go. Yeah, these guys need nav mesh obstacle components. I just haven't added them for some reason. Probably never had any reason to. Okay, so now then, yeah, this is what I was kind of expecting it to do. You know, just do a normal drive up the, or reverse up the ramp sort of deal. Uh-huh. It has some hazard there that it kind of doesn't like. Okay. Oh boy. Why do you do a reverse turn that way? That's just kind of stupid. Ah. Right, so it okay. That's interesting. So it's sort of oscillating back and forth between being inside of the no RT zone and not being inside of it. And so it's like, okay, I'm no longer in no RT zone, back to normal driving, and then it goes, drives forward, sees a hazard, And it's like, oh, I wanted to do a reverse turn, but I can't because I'm inside of a no RT zone, right? And then it backs away. And then it does the same thing over and over. Yeah, okay. Well, that is at least completely logical. So it is, of course, a problem with these tight spaces, but it is completely logical that it would do that. Okay, would you come here? Get out of the way a little bit. Yeah, there's no way this scout is actually going to like push that thing. Weighs a whole lot more. Get out of the way. Come on. Yeah, I know. I know you are. That's the problem. Alright, here we can squeeze past it. Yeah, I know you are here. So now if you're wondering why, you know, more games don't do this kind of AI in tight spaces, now you have at least one reason why they might not want to do that. Because it's kind of tricky. But I don't care, we will have it. We will do our best to make sure it works properly. I have a potential fix for that infinite loop that happened there just a second ago, and which we might be able to reproduce if we do this again. And the fix is to reverse a bit more. Yeah, look at this. Now we are probably back to that thing again. Yeah, we're back to the same infinite loop. So the fix here is to reverse a bit further when exiting a no RT zone. About the length of the vehicle or something like that, but probably like even more than that. So that if the vehicle then wants to do a U-turn outside of the zone, they can do it without accidentally driving back into the zone. That would fix this particular issue. So that's probably what I'm gonna look at tomorrow. I'm gonna try to fix both of these AI issues, both this issue and then the original issue that we looked at with the hard and soft AI nav mesh obstacles. So that's the plan for tomorrow. This turned into a whole thing. I thank you for interest today. Thank you for all the kind words that I got during the stream. That was very kind of you, everyone. I think we are pretty much done for today. It's getting kind of late here, and I'd actually not even planned to stream for this long. But it was not a bad stream. We got some new AI bugs. That just means that we've pushed the AIs to their limits. And that was indeed the whole point of this stream. And we did actually fix some bugs, and we added some new features and all kinds of things. So it was a good stream. And we are, once again, we are closer to pre-alpha 4. Which, I'm getting interrupted here by my characters. We are once again closer to pre-alpha 4, which will release in, let's say, within 2 weeks. Might be might be faster than you, or sooner than you expect. But within 2 weeks we should have pre-alpha 4 out. So within June, basically. If you want to play that, do join the Discord, where you can play already pre-alpha 3, which is a pretty old build. In a couple of weeks, at the latest, you can play pre-alpha 4. You can also wait a bit longer and play the public demo, which will be available at the end of the summer. And of course, I ask you to consider subscribing to the YouTube channels, both this one, which is the live stream channel, as well as the main one. And last but not least, do wishlist the game on Steam if you like to see it succeed on there. That's it from me. Have an excellent rest of your day. Take care and see you next time.